beautiful people, how's it all going? Hope you're all doing amazingly well. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going through my Jeffree Star palettes collection that I've got so far. I don't have that many of the Jeffree Star palettes. It's literally just ones that I've seen that I thought were just really suited to me and that I thought would be wearable for all occasions, but also something that I would reach for quite often. It would just be great to show people what they're like, because I don't know if you've heard of Jeffree Star before, but he's basically an American YouTuber. He's the CEO of the company Jeffree Star Cosmetics, and since then he's just been releasing things each year that have just been incredible, just like how he's created all of it. And it was just really interesting to see, like in the Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star documentary, of how the whole process of doing a makeup palette goes. It was just really interesting to see, and I'm not gonna lie, I've watched that episode about 5 or 6 times now. For a long time people spoke about his products. There are so many YouTube videos out there where people have tested them for ages. I was always like dipping my toe in the water a little bit and just being like, shall I do it, shall I do it? And not the cheapest brand makeup, I'll put it out there now, but for what you get, everything that I have tried so far, like the quality, the pigment, literally every single thing about these palettes like really does show why they are priced the way they are. For those who've never bought it before, who have thought about buying it before, or have just thought, you know what, it's just too expensive for me, I just thought I'd take the pressure off a little bit and just give you a little insight into all the palettes that I've got from the collection so far. I think without further ado, we should just get straight on into it and see what we've got. This is the first palette that I ever bought. I actually treated it for myself for my birthday last year. Ever since I saw the palette come out and I saw the YouTube video for it, I was just like, oh, I've got to get this. This looks amazing. So this is the Jawbreaker palette. When he did his video on it a few years ago, I was just watching everything about all the shadows and the pigments and just everything in it. The only thing that really put me off it a bit was all of his products are vegan and cruelty free. So some of the colours that they have in the palettes that have a bit more colour to them, or have needed to have more colour in them in order to get the pigment, he has said previously that some pigments can stain your eyes. So if you have sensitive eyes, he has referenced this in his video, you might find that they do stain your eyes. I so far have not found any problems with this at all when I have used it previously. I think we should go up and open this one. So as you can see, packaging is lovely, and that's another thing about his palettes. You will not get any other palette out there that works as hard on the packaging as Jeffree Star. It's just so unique and beautiful. I've kept all the packaging on all the products that I've got so far. I just find that they just add to it, gives it that bit more to it, because normally I just open new makeup products and the boxes just go straight away in the bin, but actually just having these just adds to it. You need to have the box as well as the actual product, which I've not had from buying any other products before. So here we go. This is what the palette looks like. Bright pink, shiny. Running my finger across the letters, I can feel the lettering on it, which is really nice. And this is how the back looks as well. So normally on all his products, it does have a little saying on there that just says pressed pigments not to be used around the immediate eye area, and they do give you the pressed pigments at the bottom, the names of them, so the ones that you shouldn't put in your immediate eye area, which I think is really good. And when you do have sensitive eyes as well, it can be really tricky to go for a product that can be a bit worrying to put on your eyes. So the fact that he's put that on there is obviously really good. You're not misled, you're not buying something, he's not just putting it out there to make loads of money for that side of things. He's literally doing it because he wants everybody to have that same quality and honesty, which I think is really, really good. So we'll open up this palette, and as you can see, it is a beautiful colour of rainbow. I honestly love it. I think this is probably, because I've got quite a few rainbow palettes, this one definitely speaks out to me. It is quite randomised, I will say. I think it would have been nice if the colours were a bit more together to do looks with, if you see what I mean. Because sometimes like I look at this palette, and even though like it's amazing and magical and all the colours are so pretty, it can be a little tricky to decide what you're going to go for and what colours are going to go together nicely. But I think it's just a case of just playing around and seeing what comes out of it. Like with any makeup that you do, any makeup eyeshadow that you buy, you just have a little experimentation with it, see what works well for you. We've got a load of beautiful colours in there, and they're all named as well. Another thing that I love about his palettes is how all the names in the eyeshadows are all personal to him, and they're all things that either he says quite often or the colour name just suits it so well. I just think it's really, really cool. Shall we have a little swatch? Would you like me to swatch these for you? I can hear a yes in the background. So here we go. So all together in this palette there are 24 shades in total, so enough to play around with. So if I go through each shade name here, so this is the very first shade in the palette. This is Virgin. This one we've got here is Good Morning. That's also a really nice shade. I find that's quite a nice transition shade to put in, so if you're doing smoky eye looks, I find this is a really good shade to use to put all the colours together. Next up is Bubblegum, which is a really nice pink pretty shade, and then we've got Wow, which is a really pigmented yellow. We've got Suck, which is the orange one here, and then Licorice, which is the red one here. So as you can see just from the first line of shades, the colours are really pigmented. They're really smooth and buttery as well. Like you literally put your hand in the palette and you just get it on your finger and it feels so smooth. Such good quality. There isn't any scent in there either. There's no like weird smells or anything coming from it. There's hardly any fallout either from what I've gathered from these shades so far. So all in all, we're on to a good start. This is what I love about these palettes. Like they're just so like, oh, like I want to play with it straight away. You just look at it and think, amazing. So we'll go on to the next row. That is a really nice shade. We will start with this one. So this one is called Cute, which is like a minty green shade. Let me get a bit more pigment on there just so you can see it a bit more. There we go. So it's a really nice minty green shade, and then next to it let's go in a little bit more. So that shade there, we've got Fuck. It's a, I'd say it was like a orangey shade. Like it doesn't really come up very well when I try and swatch it on my hand. That's a bit better. So as you can see there, we got a nice little orangey peachy shade. Next to it we've got Gumdrop. This is probably one of my favorite colors in the palette. And this one next to it, oh my goodness, this one is called Snack, and it is a very pretty, I want to say like a rose goldy shade, but it's got a bit more pink to it. As you can see, it is unbelievably pretty, like really nice. This one's called Brain Freeze, a nice little blue shade. And then here we have Jaw Breaker. This one is definitely a really nice inner corner shade, really nice pigment buttery formula going on there, and my hand just looks amazing, so colourful. I would definitely say so far within these palettes you really do get what you pay for. You always wonder like, oh, should I be spending that much on a palette, like that kind of thing, but do you know what, if you're going to use the colours quite regularly, and if it's going to be one of your go-to palettes, or even if it's just something you just want to add to your collection, I will show you a video one day of the eyeshadow palettes that I've got, because I've literally got a drawer full of them. But even if you're a collector and you just want to add stuff to your collection, then by all means do it. Okay, so let's move on to the next lot of shades. Ooh, that is lush. Oh, we have more shades here, so it definitely swatches better on the hand, so I will be doing that for future reference. But here we've got And What, which is a really nice red shimmery shade. Next to it is Orange Juice, which as you can see is so pigmented and it really comes out well in the light. We've got a matte shade of Sour. Next to it is a matte shade called Soaked, which is a really nice cobalt blue. And then Raspberry, which is a really nice matte reddy cranberry shade. And then the pink one, which is Cotton Candy. You can see how amazing that looks in the light. Like imagine like just wearing that on your eyes right now. Amazing. Let's go in with these next. See what? See what? And there we go. So that is the bottom row that we've got there. So we will start from this one, which is Lemon Drop, which as you can see I swatched and I was in love with that. That is really pretty. Next to it is called Bite Me, which is a really nice shimmery dark purple. We've got Cherry Wet, which is another matte shade. Tasty, the brown matte shade here. Up there next to it we've got Cone, which I would say is a really nice transition shade to put in if you're doing a smoky eye. And then we've also got Delicious at the top. Just everything about this palette is just so beautiful. The swatches that I just did, as you can see, were so pigmented. The formula was amazing, and it's just a really nice palette to have in your collection. If you want a rainbow palette, you've never had a rainbow palette, I would definitely recommend this one as the best high-end rainbow palette. Everything about it I just absolutely love, and I would 100% recommend it if you want to add a rainbow palette to your collection. So this one a lot of people are going to know and love. This palette really took off. I feel like that really took off this company. The palette that everybody talks about, that most YouTubers that do makeup will have this in their collection for sure. I feel like it's one of the most versatile ones as well, so ones that even though it's got a colour theme towards it, there are different colours within that as well, so you can experiment with different day and night looks. If you don't want to do a certain look with a specific colour, you can change it to a different one that's a bit more neutral, more natural. Packaging on this is just amazing. It's like a little mini suitcase, like the feel of it and just everything about it. You can feel the letters on it as well, which is really cool. Obviously the best part about this palette is that it's got its little fastenings on it, so you literally just lift it up there to open it, which I think is really cool. Again, he's shown the pressed pigments on the eyeshadow palette. It says to not be used around the immediate eye area, so you've got that notice anyway. But let's open up this bad boy. You see what I mean, like with all the colours like being so versatile, so there's not just one type of colour in there. Like even though it's a red palette, there's a different selection of reds in there. There's a pop of pink, there's a pop of purple, there's some browns in there, so you can do a more neutral look. I would say like this one and one of the other ones that I've got at the moment, which I'll show you momentarily, is probably one of the more versatile ones that's just got looks that you can do either for every day or for night, or you know, just anything you want to do. Like you can literally do like so many looks within just one palette, which is obviously one of the things you look for in an eyeshadow palette, with how versatile it is, how often you'll reach for it, if it's something that's actually going to be worth the money, if you're going to use it a lot or not. Now the first one isn't coming out very well, just purely because it's a really white shade, but so far all the others are doing very well, especially that one there. Oh my good lord. But no, so Glucose is very white. You can kind of see the shimmery shade going on there. We've got Sugarcane. I'm going to try and swatch that one again. You see that little bit of shimmer going on there, so that's a really pretty shade. The next one next to it is a matte shade. This is Cake Mix. Again, really nice transition shade to use. We've got Ouch over here. This one, oh my gosh, is called Donor, and wow, look at that shimmer that's going on in that palette. That is crazy. And then next to it we've got Intravenous, which is another matte shade. Quite a good start to it. Obviously these ones are a little harder to see just because they're so light, but I can see it physically on my hand. It's way better in person. So in this palette there's 18 shades. There's a mixture of shimmers and mattes in here. So we're going on to the next part. Definitely a lot brighter pigment on this one. So we will start from the bottom. So this one is Candy Floss, which again is a really nice pink shimmer going on there, really light. We've got a matte one next to it which is called Tum Pop. That is called Sweetener. Again, it's a really nice pretty shade, which I don't think I've ever seen in another palette, not anything like this before. This one is called Cavity, which is a really dark pink. This one is O Positive, and we got a purpley one. It's coming out more pinky on the camera, but it's more purpley in the actual palette itself. And this one's called Root Canal. You can kind of see on there they've got a little bit of stain going on my hands. I can't really seem to get that off at the moment. So that whole thing of palettes can be staining just because they put a pigment in there that's a dye that will obviously stain your eyes. It does make me a bit more nervous to use it, I won't lie. They are really nice colours, and yeah, I don't know if there's any tips or anything for stained eyelids or not, how to get rid of them, but just thought I'd put that out there just in case anybody else has wondered the same and just need an honest opinion, because that's what we need at the end of the day. So we will move on to the last row of shades. Again, I love the shade names in these. They're just really cool, obviously really unique to Jeffree Star himself. Definitely more reddy, purpley colours going on here. So the bottom shade here is called Prick. We've got Cherry Soda next to it. This one's called Fresh Meat. We've got Blood Sugar up there, Extraction, and then Coma at the top right here. Definitely more of the reddish part of that palette. Using a normal makeup wipe just doesn't seem to be getting off any of the red on there. Apart from that, it's a really pretty palette altogether. All the colours put together just look really pretty. All in all, really good palette. All the colours are really unique and pretty, especially, you know, this one up here. I find a nice one. The Donor one is a really nice goldy brownish shimmer. Then obviously the sweetener shade down here. The quality of the packaging you cannot fault whatsoever. It's just a really nice palette, especially with these locks as well. It just makes it that even more unique. And yeah, so overall we will see on that one. By the way, I will get all these palettes on Beauty Bay. So then I wondered what would be the next best one to get, and I actually decided on Blood Money. You can just feel like all the bumps on it. It just feels like really good quality packaging, and just how it opens up is just really cool, but really easy to open. You just undo the slips at the bottom And there we go. Blood Money, I mean, if you look at the packaging up close, it looks amazing. Obviously, you've got like the crocodile printing all around the packaging. Again, just the notes that they're saying about the pressed pigments and which ones not to put in your immediate eye area. And these gold little corners as well. Like, it just makes it like very American dollar vibe, like really, really cool. Then obviously the way you open it, again, not seen a palette like this ever that's done that, and it's just, yeah, a really good way to just add to it that little bit more. So all you do is just push this one down here and then it just opens up, and then just look at the colours in this one. You've got some different kind of green shades in there. You've also got some browns to bump up a little bit and just make it a bit more transitionable, just like when you're doing, you know, smoky eyes. So I've actually got Blood Money on my eyes today. And I'll also put a photo down below of the look that I created last week when I went out with it. The colours are just amazing. They were so pigmented when I did it last week. And as you can see as well, like the colours on here just work really well today. And I'll be honest, I never thought I would wear green eyeshadow, like just as a day-to-day wear. But I wore it today when I went to go meet some friends for some lunch. It just works really well. Like, I can't really fault it. But definitely like the pigment on this is just amazing, and how the colours just blend all together like so well. 18 shades in here, again a mixture of shimmers and mattes in there. So let's dive in and swatch some of these. I can confirm this as well, like the shades that I've used so far have not stained my eyes at all. I've been able to get them off absolutely fine, which is really, really good. You have this really pretty shimmery white shade. Now it's very green as well, so when you look at the palette firsthand you can see that it looks more white, but when you actually put it on you can see it's got more of a green duochrome in it as well, which looks amazing. I've got it in the inner corner of my eyes at the moment and it just makes it pop. Like, it's a really good colour. Next to it we've got a matte shade called Mint Condition, and then we've got a matte shade Chameleon Fetish. This is a really nice bright green and a great transition shade. We have got this one, Poison Ivy, which is a really shimmery green shade. I absolutely love it. This one is called Make It Rain, and the next one is Crocodile Tears. Again, really nice, that one, for doing your smoky eyeshadows on. I find that a really good shade. And more green shades that we've got here. So this one is a nice khaki green shade called Equity. This one, my gosh, I have got this on my lids today. This one is called Money Heist. It's like a duochrome brown, green, gold mixed all together. It's just really, really nice. In the middle you've got CEO, which again I've got that on my eyes as well, like just in the middle next to Money Heist. We've got Emerald Estate. Now this one, when I tried this one out last week, it did take quite a bit to try and get it out of the pan. Like, for some reason I just had to give it quite a few strokes before it physically was able to appear on my eyes. Once it's on there, like, it's a really pretty shade to have. Like, absolutely love it. Then we've also got another matte shade which is Heavy Weighted, and then this one here which is Jaded, which are really nice. Again, really nice dark colours to have in the palette. So this is the bottom row. I mean, that one already stands out, like, oh, but we'll go from the bottom first. This one, can't really see it, but it's like a brown, like a light brown shade called Private Island. Really nice transition colour. We've got Self-Made there. This one, oh, is a really nice swatch. So this one is called Tax Free. We've got Persuasion, which is a dark brown, Secret Stash up here, and Black Card Limit there. It's a really nice palette, I must admit. It's just, the colours in this are just really, really pretty. I never thought I would wear green, but do you know what? I love how this looks on me, and I loved how it looked on me the other week when I had it on as well. This is definitely one, if you love greens as it is, definitely go for it. This one I would definitely say is a really good one to try. Just different ways you can use it, different ways to use the greens all together. This one has just recently come out. It's brand new from the Jeffree Star collection, and it is Banana Fetish. I did wonder about this one because obviously it's a yellow palette, so a lot of people aren't really going to appeal to yellow on a day-to-day basis, but I thought I'd just give it a try and just see what it was like, because when he did the reveal video for it, I thought actually there's quite a lot of versatile colours in there, a bit like the green one and the red one, where you've got different colours to play with, not just yellow. So it's got all the ingredients and shade names on there, and again with the warnings on there with which ones you do not put in your immediate eye area. The Banana Fetish writing on there, which I feel it, again, nice and bumpy. It's just a nice feeling. So this is what it looks like. You've got the Banana Fetish logo and print on there. Definitely not the same kind of palette shape shape wise that he's released before, so it makes it a bit different, which is always nice. We like a bit of different going on. And then as we open it up, you can see all the different colours in there. I love how he's got banana in the middle row all printed in the shade names, and then also the iconic Jeffree Star logo. You've definitely got obviously your main one, which is Banana Fetish in the middle, and then some shade names up there as well, which is different yellow colours as well. Blue one, which is very different to put in a yellow palette, but there you go. And then you've also got Pinky Ring as well. I will show you the look I created with this a couple of weeks ago, and it was really nice. Like, I was able to obviously use more brown shades to give it a nice smoky brown eye, but then I also went in with some different colours as well just to make it a bit more, and it really delivered. Like, I got really nice comments on my makeup, so I would definitely say again, this is a really nice palette to have in your collection, even just to use it for like the browns and the golds. Like, you could use a pink or a yellow to do a different look of some sort, or even just like a nice under your waterline kind of eye, or as a liner at the top, you can do that. Oh, this one I love. I'll show you in a minute. Again, like with the Blood Money and Blood Sugar, they have got 18 shades in there. And as you can see, this is the first row, so we'll start from the bottom. So this one is My Peeps. We've got a Cream Pie shade. This one, G-Spot. Oh, it is amazing. The shimmer on that is incredible. And then next to it, we have Just the Tip. We've got How Do You Peel and Certified Organic. Again, a mixture of matte shades and shimmer shades in there. So in that top row, the only shimmer shade you've got is this one here, which was a G-Spot. Really nice colours. Like, yes, they're yellow, but they're like different shades of yellow, like in different ways, if you see what I mean. If you're looking for something that is more for day wear, for everyday wear, rather than making it too striking or potent, those shades there I think are pretty good for that. So we will move on to the second row. I mean, just saying, I love this one. There is the middle row shades. We will start once again from the bottom here. So this one is Star Split. This is, oh, amazing shade. Really, really nice, shimmery, pretty shade going on. This was the blue shade called Bulge. Next to it, the Banana Fetish colour, which is the name of the palette. We've got Vitamin P, which, oh, amazing shimmer. I love that. And then we've got the pink one, which is Pinky Ring, and at the top, Size Queen. Now we're on to the last row. I love this one as well. So starting from the bottom, we have Hammock, which is a nice mustardy yellow shade. This matte one here, Sunday Service in a brown. Again, another shimmery shade, and that one Never Bitter. Really, really nice. We have Morning After there, Pounding Cake up there, and Don't Choke at the top here. It's just a really pretty palette to have. I was a bit skeptical of it to start with, just because when you buy like a yellow palette like this, like, it can be a bit intimidating to be a bit like, but I won't really use yellow, so is there a point of getting it? There's a lot you can do with this palette for sure. So it's definitely one that people might look at first and think, oh, like, should I? Like, is it really? But I would try it. Like, it is really, really good. And also, I can tell you there is a hint of a smell of banana in there. It's not overpowering, it's just really subtle. I don't think you could go wrong with this palette at all. I think if you're somebody that likes to be a bit more experimental, or would like to try and be a bit more experimental, if you just like using brown shades, then you can definitely use it just for that. You've got some goldy shimmers in there that aren't so yellowy, but I really think it's a really good palette to try. I'll definitely be using more of this in future. The last palette that I have is a highlighter palette, and I wasn't expecting to get this, but I just saw that it was on offer at the time when I was getting all the other palettes, and I thought, you know what, actually it would be nice to have a highlighter palette in my collection. We've got the Ice Crusher palette. Like, again, packaging just looks amazing. You've got that bumpy writing that I know and love, and just at the back there, just all the ingredients and all the information you need to know. So let's open this bad boy up and see what we get packaging wise. Got the outline just around the letters, that's all shimmery, again really bumpy, which we like. It is the Skin Frost palette, and inside you have all these shades. So 6 shades in this palette. I was looking at the purple one and I was like, really? Because even though I love purple, like, it didn't really speak volumes to me. Like, the rest of them, like, they've got a little something about them, but yeah, for purple one, I'm not too sure, but we'll give it a swatch and I will show you what it looks like, so it won't take as long as the other ones. We'll start here. It's called Avalanche. This is the white silvery highlight. Next to it, which is the one I've used like quite often more than others, just because it's gone with my eye makeup look, it's called Snow Job. Now, I originally thought it was more goldy, but it's actually got a bit of a green duochrome in there as well. And then next to it, you've got Ice Pick Headache, which is a really nice, pretty silvery, I'm gonna say like pinky shade as well going on there. You've got Pluto, which is is the blue shimmer, Plow Me. There's that one there, and then there's the purple shade going on there. That one is called, is it Asphyxia Frost, which is the purple shimmery shade going on there. Really striking, really pretty shimmery shade, and I've actually got Snow Job on at the moment, just on both my cheeks up there. It just had a bit of a nice creamy undertone to it. I will put a bit more on just so you can see for yourself what it looks like when I put it on. It does have a little bit of fallout as well, I will say, but we will put it on. As you can see, like, it is so striking when it's on your skin. It just really comes together with this eye look as well, because it's got that green duochrome in it, and it's so striking, like, amazing. Can't go wrong with this highlighter palette. It's really pretty. All the colours are pigmented and you don't need to put too much on before it just looks striking as it is. There is the highlighter palette. He has released some other ones before, but again, they just didn't really speak out to me. I didn't feel like they were very versatile enough for me to be able to use quite frequently. But yeah, this one out of all of them I think is one that you can just create different looks with and have a good little play around with. Goes with different looks, and yeah, you just can't go wrong with it. So there we go. That is it. That is all the palettes that I have from the Jeffree Star collection so far. Let me know what your favourite Jeffree Star palette is if you've got one. Just be interesting to know what you guys think of each of the Jeffree Star palettes, which ones you've liked, which ones you don't like. So thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. I will see you very soon. Take care.